I may, I think we can debate a lot of things. I think the point here is that the government is telling us through the president and the vice president and Levitt putting I Stand With ICE on all of the socials that they can kill us at any time and they can get away with it.
Oh, good Lord.
And I think if we interfere with them while they're disappearing people off the street, if we don't like them kidnapping our neighbors, if we don't like them building concentration camps, if we film them while they're doing it, we can't do anything about it. Because this is no longer the land of the free. And if you do something about it, they will lie about you, they will lie about who you were, and this is the point that they're trying to make right now.
We have this map that shows how the U.S. would be divided in the event of an emergency, if we can pull that up there. There it is. So this is how the U.S. will be divided into districts. You see 10 of them there. This is according to the
Speed check reported ahead on Broussard Watkins Drive.
Emergency Center establishment. Can you describe what this map is? What exactly does that mean? I mean, it doesn't really make sense in terms of states as we know them. What is this classification system? What are the purposes?
It doesn't look like the map that you and I saw in elementary school.
Not at all.
Effectively, the U.S. has been cordoned off into these different districts, and so these new emergency centers will be spread out throughout the United States in most of these eventually. And it gives FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security jurisdiction over what goes on in these places during a time of emergency.
Okay, I want to go into what, because this act does make some specific examples, some exclusions, set some limitations, I should say. So the National Emergency Center Establishment Act, what it does not do, it does not authorize any federal officer or employee to force an individual to enter a national emergency center or prevent an individual from leaving a national emergency center. So, Bob, it looks to me like there are some safeguards there. If you don't like it, you can leave.
Well, I'd like to think so, and this was actually one of the other things that was changed in this new version of the bill. They added this. But if you read what they're saying, federal officer, federal employee, that doesn't cover members of the military. And since these are going to be installed in decommissioned and existing military bases, you're going to have people from the military there. So I would think they will have people, namely the military, who would be able to force people to stay there or prevent them from leaving if that is their what they want to do.
Now, for civil liberty advocates like yourself and others like you that are worried that this could be a precursor to government overreach, what would satisfy what would make you more comfortable with this piece of legislation, I guess? Do you think that the language in it should be clarified, that it's not so vague so that it could be interpreted and abused?
Ideally, it would be withdrawn, but if I were forced to live with it, I would want the restrictions on keeping people in there to extend to the military and, in fact, to anybody. Not let the states or even local governments have that ability.
Okay.
Red light camera ahead.
Emergencies. We're talking about disasters. We're talking about chaotic situations where some order hopefully the goal there is to be established. And, some are going to say desperate times call for desperate measures. So doesn't that ring true for natural disasters and cases like that?
What do desperate people in the government do in those situations? Like I said, I think it's a slippery slope, and we don't really need people in power with these vast sweeping powers to begin with. Unfortunately, there's moral hazard involved here too, where people really don't take care of themselves anymore and plan for these emergencies when they have the federal government and other governments ready to step in. And we saw what a great job happened in Sandy and in Katrina. So, like I said, moral hazard.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect. Real quick, this is a video here.
If you read what they're saying, federal...
It says, it's now a good time to talk about FEMA camps. Now, this is RT News. This looks like this is a pretty older video from what I can recall. I haven't seen it floating around recently, but, it's not particularly old, it's still within recent times. But they're speaking on detention centers, FEMA camps. Man, from the apostles on down, starting with the apostles first, even going back to the mid-90s, they was talking about, the Gestapo troops, FEMA camps, America Under Siege. Like, there's a movie called under siege, and it deals with the pretty much America being invaded and people being put in detention camps, man. Several movies like that. Hell, you got the Purge movies. You got the Purge movies, which one of my favorite Purge movies is the first Purge, and you have the Forever Purge, which deals particularly with the tribes. You have not Man on Fire, but it's called Enemy of the State. You got Leave the World Behind. You got several movies that directly speak on concentration camps and how in a time of all hell breaking loose, you know, they have a right to throw people in these camps, man. So this is the time we in, you know, especially with ICE patrolling the streets and being trained by the IDF, you know, which people call it the Israeli Customs and Enforcement. I mean, yeah, Israeli, what is it? Customs and Enforcement, if I'm not mistaken. But find out that these so-called ICE agents, they're being trained by Israelis, man. You know, it make a lot of sense, because when you go into the Gaza conflict, when they were starving them people out, starving kids out, women, you know, elderly men, torturing them, beating them up, you know, and making sport of them. This is the same people that's on your streets, getting ready to terrorize your neighborhoods, man. Now they've been given a green light to go door to door to check credentials and kick in doors and be on some Gestapo type shit, which is totally unconstitutional. But we told you, we in them times, man, with all hell breaking loose. And them concentration camps, you better believe that these FEMA camps, going back to Alligator, Alcatraz, and a lot of these decommissioned old schools and factories and baseball stadiums and all this other stuff, that's all on the books now, man. Okay, because now Trump can declare the Insurrection Act, when basically the citizens revolt against the government, and they can be, you know, they can be justified on pushing certain mandates, you know, because now the American people, their backs against the wall, you know, they paying taxes, they're being, you know, taken against their will, you know, getting gunned down. There's all types of shit happening, and it's to the point now that they're getting kind of tired of it. So now the civil war is on the rising, which the civil war would justify them on activating these concentration camps, because even Trump mentioned it. He stated that he wanted to have a Visa National Tracking Registry going back to 2016 to track these illegal immigrants. And now, you know, people are playing ball with this tracking system now, because now ICE, they'll be able to detect you by certain, what do they call it, biometrics, man. You know, they can pick up on your signals, they can go into your phones, and they can determine who's who, and they can hold you indefinitely, man. And this is the type of draconian law we was telling you about. And it's just gonna get worse, okay? Because we ain't even seen, it ain't even really started yet. But eventually they're just gonna be grabbing people out of their cars and throwing them in these buses and taking them to concentration camps, man. And a lot of that is gonna start with you Israelites, because you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you don't know what the hell is going on, man. You know? Only thing you know is a Trump. This is bigger than Trump, okay? This is a war declared on you. You know, like I was at work today, and Jake is so goddamn oblivious to what the hell is happening to him, to the point they don't even realize that you had the prophets out warning them, man. Okay? Myself, the brothers, you know, the brothers that's in the different state camps and the cities. You got a camp in every major city in Babylon for the most part. And you all have been warned. But what? You didn't take heed. You didn't take heed. You scoff, you know? You wrote us off. Told us we was crazy, didn't take us seriously. But now when it's come knocking at your front door, because see, the average Jake, they're in the mindset, well, that ain't happening to me, so I can't really worry about it. Okay, it's gonna happen to you sooner than you think, because like I said, ICE, they will hunt you down. Going back to the time of Nazi Germany, when a lot of them Germans was trying to protect those small hats, those Gestapos, they basically tracked them down. It was like a witch hunt, man. So what make you think they're not finna track you tribes down in your neighborhoods and separate you from your kids, you know, your wives, your husbands, your families? This shit is getting ready to get real, man. And yet people still think that we're a fucking joke. Okay, well, the joke is getting ready to be on you people, because they showed a map of how America is divided up into 10 FEMA zones, all right? And in the Midwest, Kansas City, which is the spirit, it says Kansas City, Chicago, which are major hubs in the Midwest. Kansas City, we're FEMA zone number 7. Kansas City, St. Louis, Oklahoma, I think. You know, Kansas, of course, Missouri. We're FEMA region number 7. So what she was talking about was how the region would be broken up into different FEMA zones, and they would be able to utilize certain facilities to house people that's rebelling against the government, man. Okay, going back into that movie called 1984, when it was a totalitarian system, and anybody that spoke out against the government, they were heavily surveyed. You know, they were taken to prisons, tortured. These are the times we coming in, man. It ain't gonna be no go to work as normal. It ain't gonna be no, all right, let's go to Big Mama's barbecue on Sunday, you know, and eat some chicken and ribs. Nah, bruh. All that folly and all that mirth, that's getting ready to be shut down, man. And you women are totally in the dark, because you women really think you finna have a hot girl summer. And while you may have, you know, some pockets of freedom still, you know, I mean, you can still go out and do what you want to do, but the time is winding down, man. You know, like I had to rebuke myself yesterday because I was looking at some property in Chicago, you know, which I would love to have. And I was like, damn, you know, this is beautiful. I would love to have a property back at home. That way, when I'm tired of this bullshit, I can just go the fuck back to the crib and get up, you know, and just get a, you know, just kind of move around, you know, with pilgrims. And the Spirit said, yeah, it sounds good, but that will never happen because you ain't got time for all that. And I know that, you know, but it was wishful thinking. But my mindset was really set on the kingdom. Like, well, you know, in the kingdom, we gonna have all the time to do what we want to do. Because these were some dope ass, you know, properties I was looking at right off the lake. And I'm like, man, that would have been dope maybe 15 years ago. But we ain't in them times, man. You know, so the Heavenly Father said, tarry not to seek the Lord. So, yeah, it's getting ready to get real grimy around here, man. The cops are out here left and right. ICE is in Kansas City. Now they're driving vehicles that have ICE on them. You know, which stands for U.S. Immigrations, Customs and Enforcement. But they said that that's the Israeli Customs and Enforcement because they are being trained by the IDF, which is the Israeli Defense Force. I believe that's what it stands for, or something like that. I don't know. But they're being trained by a bunch of devils, man. That's why they're not having it hiding. That's why they're hiding their faces. A lot of them got dual citizenship, so they don't deal with the Constitution. They can care less about that. You know, they don't care about all that. You know, because in their mindset, the Constitution was done away with back during the time of 9/11. So they don't really care about that stuff. That's all smoke and mirrors, man. You know, so all you people screaming, oh, my rights, my rights, my rights. You ain't got no rights, man. Okay, the minute that you opted into giving this man billions of dollars a year out of your hard-earned paychecks, they already looked at you like you were pushover. So they don't respect you, you know. But you Israelites, you getting ready to get the sword put to you on a whole nother level. All right, you women, you children. Like I was doing some work today, and I'm in a company vehicle. So it's this black woman on the phone, and she had maybe like a 2-year-old in the back seat in a car seat, maybe 3 years old, a little baby girl. It's probably like 9:30 in the morning. She had a sucker in her mouth, eating candy first thing in the morning. Which, you know, Jake do that to tame their kids, but you don't do that. It puts hyper demons on them. But what really fucked my head up was the way that this little girl was eating this sucker, and she couldn't be no more than 3. And the Spirit said, you know why she's doing that, right? And then I'm like, well, why? And the Spirit was like, because she's witnessed her mother having sex with men in front of her. Like, babies are like sponges. And the way she was entering the sucker in and out of her mouth, like she seen it before. And the baby, you know, she just doing what she seen do it. She don't know what it represent. She just saw her mother with her mouth on another man's ride. And that's what the Spirit told me. Little fucking 3-year-old girl, and this is a black, dusty ass woman, man. This is why you niggas gotta go. Okay, and this is why, hey, all you niggas out there that's talking shit about the apostles and talking shit about the men of the Lord, talking about we hateful, no, you're gonna see how hateful Yahweh Shemi Shai is when he raises devil up against you, Jakes, man. Because we're warning you, man. Since when does warning become hate? Oh, you hate your brothers. Motherfucker, you hate us. Because we warning you, Jakes, to get right. Oh, y'all hate y'all brother. How we hate you because we're telling you the doctrine is off. Because we're rebuking you. Because you got a sellout leader. That's hate now? That's why a lot of you Jakes out here, man, you gonna get caught up in this too. And guess what? Ain't no spiritual power coming into you guys, man. All right? Y'all don't even prophesy. Y'all don't go into the chariots. That's even if you see chariots. You know? Only spiritual men see chariots. But you dudes ain't getting no protection in that day, because you're not keeping the hour of the Lord's patience. And the Lord got all you in the scopeo. He knows where to hit you at. You know? So anyway, let's get a book of Acts 5 real quick, because, you know, there were they threw the disciples in prison, and these FEMA camps, they're nothing more but modern day prisons, man. Fuck. This is the book of Acts 5, and I'm gonna start at verses. Hold on, give me 1 second. I hate when I lose my place. One from the prison. Not prisoners, prison. There we go. It's Acts 5 and 18. Bingo. So this is the book of Acts 5, and I'm gonna start at verses 17. It says, then the high priest rolled up, because you're gonna have a lot of Israelites too that's gonna try to finger us out of a lineup, man. All right, a lot of Israelites are gonna be with Esau rolling on us, just so they think they're gonna get us off for sinners. No, you're gonna be right in the concentration camp with some of the men that you hate. You know, all that energy gonna go out the window that day when you in a concentration camp and an angel deliver a brother who was teaching the right doctrine, and that was full of the spirit of Yahweh Shai, and you going to the dark room to get tortured, and your fucking screams could be heard outside of the prison camp, but the brother just got walked out of prison with an angel on his way. See, that's what the Lord gonna do to confound a lot of you dudes, man. So really, we ain't even worried about a lot of you, man. We, you know, just for edification's sake, we have to, you know, defend the gospel. But a lot of you dudes getting ready to just be straight up rolled out, man. And you know what? It's warranted at this point, because it's just like, how much more we got to blow the trumpet? Okay? And it says here, and all they that were with him, which is the sect of the Sadducees, and were filled with indignation, which the Sadducees didn't believe in a resurrection. They didn't believe in angels. They were just they was basically equivalent to these y'all niggas, man. All right? They were just basically the basest Israelites that you could come across. And it says here, and they laid their hands on the apostles and put them in a common prison. Okay? So yeah, that the apostles went to prison. They got locked up for teaching the word. Even in this modern day, you get brothers that went to jail for teaching the word, man. Yeah, I remember when I first came into the truth, Saint Benji, he was out there teaching at the terminal, the Red Line terminal where the train ends at, far out south, and Benji was out there cursing their ass out, and they locked Benji ass up, man. You know, but that's in the spirit, you know, that's the scriptures. You know, brothers went to jail for this word, and you know, certain brothers are going to go to jail again for the word. It is what it is. Okay? And it says here, but the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth and said, go stand and speak in the temple to the people all the words of this life, man. Okay? And it says, and when they heard that, they entered into the temple early morning and taught. But the high priest came that were with him and called the council together and all the senate of the children of Israel, and sent to the prison to have them brought. But when the officers came and found them not in the prison, they returned and told, saying, the prison truly we found shut with all safety, and the keepers standing without before the doors. And when we had opened, we found no man within. Okay, so you're gonna have miracles like that that's gonna happen to brothers. Brothers gonna be getting delivered out of prison. Brothers gonna be, you know, miracles, spiritual power. You know, it's gonna be a beautiful, you know, deliverance, man. Come on, bro. Thank you. It's gonna be a beautiful deliverance, to say the least. You know, and I believe that. I believe that miracles are gonna happen. I believe that brothers are gonna get spiritual power and be able to get them, you know, themselves out of jams through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, man. I really believe that, you know, because the scriptures say that. You know, that's what the Heavenly Father, that's what is written in the scriptures. In Salakia, I'm actually moving around here, so my bad if I'm seeming a bit distracted. But anyway, let me go with another precept real quick. Let's go to the book of Matthew 10, and I'm gonna start at verse 16. It says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be you wise as serpents and harmless as doves, man. Right? Because we you know, we're not out here trying to fight people. We're not out here trying to incite people. We're not out here trying to provoke people, you know, to wrath or anything of that nature. But what we are doing is teaching the word. And because we're teaching the word, you know, we've been labeled as domestic teas, or terror ist, as the brother Amwan Gabar say, we have been labeled as extremists. My own mom, maybe last year sometime, I was talking to her. She said, yeah, they call y'all extremists. I said, no, you calling us extremists. But she can't deny everything that I say has come to pass. It's been true. You know, I said, yeah, that would be a buildup of troops. That would be civil unrest. You know, they would start rolling on the tribes, and hey, it's happening. But you think I'd get an apology for that? Fuck no. If anything, I'm more the devil now because I said that. Oh, you in a cult? Yeah, okay. Keep believing that. And our parents too, they not exempt from this judgment. You know, your mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, your children. Hell, most of them not gonna make it anyway. And I've come to peace to know that 99.9% of my family ain't gonna make it. I've come to peace with that, and you know, I'm okay with those odds. I really don't. It is what it is. I'm not offended at that. You know, somebody say, how could you say that? Because I just said it. I just said it, and I feel no type of way about it, because I mean, ultimately, this is not of me. This is of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And if they don't get right, then they just gonna be another bump in the road, man. And there ain't nothing we can do about it. We just gotta continue to do what we do, and we'll catch them on the other side, man. All right. But it says, but beware of men, for they would deliver you up to councils, and they would scourge you in their synagogues. But before you should be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye should speak. It says, for it should be given you that same hour what ye should speak. For it's not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. So when we go, you know, they lock certain brothers up, whoever it may be. You know, we don't know. The Lord didn't say, he didn't give a blueprint as to who's going to be locked up or not. It just was written in your configuration. But it says here, for it's not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up brother to death, and the father the child. See, this is a division here. This is a betrayal. Even men in this truth that you call brothers or call brothers, a lot of them going to get weak and say, yeah, there go my camp leader right there. Yeah, he was the main. He's the reason why I think this way. But what you don't understand is that Esau don't respect a snitch either. He'll utilize you, but he don't respect you. So, you know, you get a man roped up or a brother roped up, then the Lord got twice much the damnation coming to you. But it says the father and child and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye should be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endured to the end shall be saved. So this is a bout of endurance, man. All right. We have to endure because that's what the Lord told us. All right. Jeremiah 15:2. 1, it says, then says Yahweh unto me, though Moses and Samuel stood before me, yet my mind could not be towards this people. Cast them away out of my sight and let them go forward, because the Lord is pissed off at Jake. So that's the Spirit of the Lord operating in these ICE agents, these FEMA troops, these foreign troops. Because, I mean, you can say that ICE is foreign because they're being trained by the IDF. That's a foreign treaty, you know. So you can say these are foreign troops because they got dual citizenships. But even the UN, they're over here. A lot of them are signing up for this whole thing. Okay, just because they put on some fatigues, they got the American flag on them or whatever it may be, that don't mean that they have your best interest. Because remember, the Lord said I was going to remove far from you the Northern Army. So the actual American military will be depleted out of here, man. They will be sent to the Middle East to fight the world war, man. Okay? Because remember, Trump said within 6 months, he wants to have troops on the streets, 500 troops per city, so to speak. You know, and then they're recruiting by the minute. Because remember, Trump upped the ICE budget to like 100 billion or some shit. And then I think it's like 1.7 trillion for the defense of war. And that includes funding the ICE people. So he's putting money into this shit, man. $100 billion. They got drones. They have technology that can go into your phone. They can ID you through heat signals and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's going to be like a witch hunt on you tribes, man. And they come into your neighborhoods, too. All right. They come into your ghettos. They come into your hoods. And they're going to have their way with your women, as there are cases of sexual assault against women of the tribes by these agents. Hey, it's getting real. All right. It says, but when it should come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither should we go? Then thou shalt tell them, thus says Yahweh, such as are for death to death, such as for the sword to the sword, such as for to the famine, and such are for the captivity to the captivity, the prison camps. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, says Yahweh, the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, the fowls of heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and to destroy. Okay? So, yeah. It's not looking good for you Israelites out there that's not in the right spirit. You know, you got Jake out here still not teaching on the mark of the beast. What's your problem with that, man? That's a prophecy that they're getting ready to bring forth, because the whole visa tracking shit, all that's going to fall under this whole system, man. The tracking, the AI, okay, the CBDCs, the chip, all that is going to go hand in hand with this new system. So right now we're witnessing a takeover, man. And the economy is going to fail. And when the economy fail, that's when shit really going to go good, because blackouts, hey, they already did test studies on the phone allergies yesterday. I think Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, a lot of these providers seen outages for damn the entire day, man. Okay. Ezekiel 21, and I'm going to start at verses 8. It says, and again, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophecy and say, thus says Yahweh, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. Okay. Furbished goes into being altered. You know, like on Call of Duty, when you're able to add all those attachments to it, you're able to enhance your bullets. You got the FMJ, which is the full metal jackets, and you got the blue hollow tips. You can tweak your weapon set wherever you need to be to give you the advantage. And that's what the Lord is getting ready to do with this devil. Okay, he's getting Esau the green light to mark you tribes, man. Son of man, prophecy and say, thus says Yahweh, a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sword slaughter. It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth? Right. So he's asking the prophet Ezekiel through the spirit, like, okay, well, why is Jake still in the spirit of mirth, partying and jumping up and down and going to work every day like everything is going to be okay? And you can look at the people's face and you can tell that they're depressed. They're worried about the future and they're just hoping that things blow over. But we know what it is, man. Okay, we know that this system is going to fall, and we know that all hell is getting ready to break loose, and there's getting ready to be a civil war on all sides, and nobody will be safe. This is what the prophets, the men of the Lord, have been telling you people. All right. And it says here, and it is given to be furbished, that it may be handled. The sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. Esau is the slayer, man. And it says, cry and howl, son of man, for it should be upon my people, and it should be upon the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason by the sword should be upon all my people. Smite therefore upon the thigh. Okay. Because Esau is going to give this devil the green light to tackle you niggas, man. Okay. Isaiah 10:1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Yeah. You know, allowing ICE to beat up on citizens. That's not constitutional. To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Yeah. You know, and who's the fatherless? Our people. Verse 5. It says, O Assyrian, the rod of my anger, which the modern day Assyria is this devil, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. That's the power. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, which is Israel, and against the people of my wrath would I give him a charge to take the spoil, which is your belongings, your goods, your life, and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire of the streets. And this is what you're seeing happening on a small scale, even to so-called American citizens, which I think a lot of those citizens that's getting beat down are Asian provocateurs. But nonetheless, they have to make it look authentic so people can react off of it, because, you know, they need a reaction in order to bring a solution. All right. What precept I was looking at? Oh, bingo, Zechariah. Let's do Zechariah 14. And let's look at that in the New Living Testament and see what it says. Zechariah 14:1. Watch, for the day of the Lord is coming, when your possessions will be plundered right in front of you. And I will take all the nations to fight against Jerusalem, and the city will be taken, the houses looted, and the women graped. Whoop. You Jake women, all you twerk queens out there, you bad bitches, you boss bitches. I don't need no man. Hey, this is talking about you. Half the population will be taken into captivity, concentration camps, and the rest will be left among the ruins in the city, because out of all this fighting and explosions and people at each other's throats, eventually that's going to cause the cities to be troubled. You know, things are going to explode. Bridges are going to be blown. Skyscrapers are going to topple. Shit's going to be destroyed. Shit going to be on fire. You know, public works are going to be out of commission. So therefore, you won't have anybody fixing up infrastructure, cutting grass. It's going to look like I Am Legend over a course of months. It ain't going to take years. It's going to take months for the cities to look like I Am Legend. Okay, just look how quick grass grew in your backyard, man. So it literally takes weeks to months. In 6 months, without any workers and anybody on the streets of America, it will look like I Am Legend. And they showed that even downtown Miami during the time of COVID, when nobody was barely down there. It looked like I Am Legend within months. So that's not far-fetched, man. All right, but us brothers here, hey, stay in the spirit. We gonna be okay, man. No matter what happens, keep the Lord first. All right. Last precept, Revelation 2:10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. And be thou faithful unto death, I will give thee a crown of life. All right? So, hey, be thou faithful unto death, man. The Lord is going to bless us at the end of the day. For those of us that may be in this predicament, then most of us probably won't be in this predicament. Okay, the Lord is going to raise up a standard through his men in that day. Read Micah 5 and 7, and that's what I'm looking forward to. You know, scriptures say we should trample our feet in the blood of the wicked. So it's going to get real fun, man. And I can't wait till the Lord really activates his prophets out here to do what we need to do, man. Because you people got to go. All right. But with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Lord's will you edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.